Evening, everybody. Give you a couple of minutes to get your notification. Pop in as you do, though. Let me know where you're from. Let me know your name. Tell me a little bit of something about yourself, right? You don't have to get personal. But, as I regularly see you in the comments, right? You get more included in the conversations, or you're brave enough, a little bit more brave to step into those conversations. I'd like to get to know you a little bit better. I truly would. And even if I don't, uh, have outright discussions, maybe I'll just, maybe you'll just pop in every once in a while and say hi, or let people know whether you agree with someone's comment. Or I have great moderators here. If you haven't been to my lives before, hi, I'm Cindy. I explore the inside and the outside. And guess who made it in here today first? And my Angry Birds fan. He's been with us actually in just what I was talking about. Let me know uh, where you're from. Let me know your name. Tell me a little something about you, right? And Angry Birds here has actually been with us now for about, he's been with us for a couple of months now. Now, he's a big yapper, but you're going to have to be a brainiac in order to understand anything that our Angry Birds fan is actually talking about, because, yeah, he gets technical sometimes, but he's an absolute sweetheart and very kind. And I always appreciate he hangs out with us right to the very end. And he always tells me to have a good night. He always, at the end of the night, he always says, have a good night, everybody. And you know what? I really appreciate that you come in and you make that extra effort, dear, and come in every night and hang out with us. Okay, I see Owen's made it here, and Andrew. These are my two head moderators in my lives. You'll see that Cindy has quite a few moderators. I can't help it. I love these guys. And and they've been with me since, oh my goodness, 2014, 2015, when I first started on YouTube, when I was doing urban exploration and out there doing my back road exploration, when I was doing my bushcraft videos, right? And they've been with me ever since, and they're absolutely amazing. It's a privilege to actually have them on my team. And yeah, no question. And they're great team members too. They love on each other as much as they love on me. And I much appreciate them. And if I don't say it often enough, you guys, I really, really do appreciate everything that you guys do for me. And just hanging out with me as I'm doing these lives and everything, and keeping me company. And then when I go into these flows and I start channeling and stuff, and I just kind of get lost, not paying attention to the comments, and you just make sure that everybody's, knows that they're being listened to, and you include them, right? And it's so much appreciated, right? So let's see what everybody's up to here. And like I said, right, it doesn't take long. We have a pretty good crew here on Sunday nights, but we've been with each other for a long time, and every once in a while we have a couple of more people join us, just like our Angry Birds fan. Actually has been with us for a couple of months now. But like I said, I've got people who've been with me for years and years and years, and we would love to have you join in on the conversation tonight. And we have conversations about everything and everything. We even let Melvin chirp up every once in a while. Melvin loves politics, and you know how funny, and it takes a really brave soul, doesn't it, to really put themselves in that position to have a stand when it comes to politics. And so lots of people avoid talking about it, right? Or say, oh, that's an off topic, because people just get so tense and so upset about things and everything. And, and Melvin, he's so polite, right? He's so polite, but, every once in a while, right? Sometimes you just got it, that steam kettle is going and the steam is coming out the top and stuff. And if you don't release some of that pressure, right, then maybe that lid off of that teapot is going to explode or something. So yeah, so there isn't too much that's off the topics. The only thing I would say is, if you could just be kind to each other. And, I'm very grateful that we have not had too many issues. Because I tell you, you wouldn't want wrath of Andrew. No, I'm just teasing. Andrew's a sweetheart, right? Yeah. Wrath of Owen. Now that one I'm not too sure about, right? No, I'm just teasing on that one too. My guys are absolutely amazing. My guys are absolutely amazing, right? Okay, well, have at her, Birds fan, because I don't know too much about SpongeBob and SquarePants and Buddy Dinosaur Train. So have at her. Fill our minds up with these characters, and I think what I could say is probably from the '90s. Are they not? Correct me if I'm wrong there. But these characters, I think, are in the '90s. Lightning bolts. Huh? Owen's like my dad. My dad never get angry about anything. He couldn't waste his time, right? He was a big believer about positive attitude, and it's really funny. I very rarely, my dad, and half the time we didn't even believe him because it was so used to him. He had us trained that he would bite his tongue. He'd stick his tongue outside of his mouth and he'd bite on it, go like this, right? And then we know he was angry and we course correct ourselves, right? But yeah, my dad was very quiet, but we always seemed to know when we hurt our dad, or dad was disappointed in us, or he was angry or something. And yeah, but he was a very quiet man too, my dad. He was a very quiet man. Oh, see, speak of the devil. We were just talking about you, Malvin. It was all good stuff, though. Yeah, we were just talking about you. We were saying that we talk about absolutely everything, and every once in a while we let Malvin talk about politics, too, we were saying. And how gracious you are, and how considerate you are, and how you give it to us in small doses, but very pointful doses, right? Yeah, he's a man of strong ideas, right? But like I said, it's like a teapot. If you don't release some of that steam every once in a while, then it's just going to build up until that lid just blows off, and then somebody's really, really going to get hurt. Then we're going to be in a real conversation, and then you know what's going to happen. Yeah, Melvin's going to have to jump into that ring because I think he's the only one with that kind of passion for the politics. I don't know, you guys. Let me know in the comments if any of you are really passionate about politics, if on your own, if you actually do delve into some of those topics. I've never been big on in politics. I've never had a real interest. I've never really voted. I think I voted once just for the thrill of it, but I've never been big on politics in any way. And in actuality, I would say I was probably maybe disappointed by a couple of the characters that I was hoping to hold up a little bit, and maybe I was kind of hoping that I could hold them in a little bit higher esteem and stuff, and I just wasn't able to because they didn't show themselves well enough, right? They just didn't pop onto the scene unless they wanted to say something bad about somebody, unless somebody was kicked down and was having a problem, then he would come out of the cracks and just kind of kick them some more and stir the pot up a little bit, and then he would disappear again unless there was something else that he could say negatively about his opponent. And I don't kind of play that way, right? And I could have done lots. I was kind of hoping to maybe offer my services free as a brand manager for him and work on his content and stuff, because he, like I said, he doesn't show up much, but he really wants to be up there. He really wants to be renowned in his studies, and he is a minority in politics, so that he would get lots of leeway and lots of ears, right? And he'd be able to capture people's interest a little bit more because of the voice he has and the community that he represents. But yeah, like I said, he just tends to pop up when he's got something not nice to say about somebody, and if you don't have something nice to say, my parents used to say, just don't say anything at all, because you might not know the whole story. You might not know the whole story, and you open up your mouth and you say something, like even in the comments, lots of people, I don't get a lot of nasty comments. I don't get a lot of people saying terrible things to me and stuff. But I expect that, when people do, they'll go for the jugular, and it's going to be a little bit painful, right? But yeah, I try not to worry. I try not to worry about the bad comments, because I understand that they are going to happen at times, right? I'm lost. I got distracted here. I was talking to something, and then all of a sudden I got tracked on something else. But yeah, I'll just try to catch up on some of these comments here. Really? Oh, a sense of duty. Okay. Yeah, yeah, because here in Canada, the small man gets a say, right? So I just thought, because I have my interests lie in different subjects, and I tend to eliminate things out of my life that I don't think are necessary. That there are others that are more highly in tuned and highly have more insight into the topics, that I would be a little bit afraid, because I would hate to make a mistake. I would hate to have a question on the vote, and they say, okay, I need to vote on this, but I don't understand the topic, and I haven't versed myself on both sides of the coin, and here I am expected to make a decision. So, politics were never up there as important to me. And I always think that, I'll leave it to the people who actually do understand politics, where this is their lifeblood. This is what they breathe, right? And I probably look more towards leaders that have my value. Like here in Manitoba, here in Winnipeg, where I live, if you watch me on Instagram, you probably hear me all the time tooting the horn of our mayor. I think we have probably one of the best mayors that we have ever had in this province. He has done an amazing, amazing, spectacular job taking on the hate, doing it with good cheer, because he actually does these posts every Christmas. He does his, like the movie stars doing the nasty comments, where they review nasty comments that they get from viewers and stuff like that. Hate mail. They get the hate mail, and they read it online, all the terrible things that people say about them, right? And then they make little comments or throw little thoughts out to what these people say about them. And it's so funny, because the mayor does this too. Our mayor does this, absolutely hilarious. And it also shows how human he is, right? That how he can actually connect on all social levels here in Manitoba, and how in tuned he is to be on social media. He's probably in his late 30s or early 40s, but he does an amazing job, and he posts numerous times, personally posts numerous times during the course of the day, and he's very, very involved online, and I think it's absolutely amazing. And it's very disappointing in some aspects, right? Like there's not too many people, where Andrew's not technically inclined the way he is, but you see he shows up here every Sunday, and he takes serious his role as moderator, and we try to communicate with emails and stuff, but because he doesn't technology, right, it's not his big thing, that he doesn't he loses out on a lot of the insight, a lot of the lessons that he could get online, right? And I think it's absolutely amazing how Andrew is so involved in line, right? As much as he wants to, right? Because you're supposed to be doing what you want. And if you really don't like these things, because like Andrew doesn't like Instagram, he's not hanging with us on Instagram. As much as I keep bugging him that he should come hang out with us on Instagram, he's not hanging out with us on Instagram, just because he's not inclined that way with the apps, and right, keeping track that way. And that's fine and dandy. I am very, very grateful for the effort and how he shows up right here with me every Sundays. I'm looking at my drinks here and I'm going, what do I want to drink first? I have some peach juice. Very good. And I made myself a nice cup of coffee in my favorite coffee mug. I don't know if anybody reads this language, but if you guys know what this says, I'm very curious. Somebody told me it was French. If anybody can read that language and tell me what the cup says, I would be absolutely very grateful to know what this cup says. It's my favorite cup. It's my favorite cup. I think it's so colorful and cheery. She looks a little bit like Lucille Ball, doesn't she? Right? And it kind of has a kind of a Cuba look too, right? I think this is a big hat that she's wearing, a big orange like sombrero basket weave hat, and her flaming red hair. Yeah, she's got a very Lucille Ball kind of look about her, right? But yeah, if anybody could read that and could let me know what that says, I'd be absolutely grateful for that one. Oh, they're going on sale, are they? Melvin's saying that the Jeep Rubicons are going on sale 2021. That's absolutely amazing because every single day it's a truck that I'm trying to manifest for myself, right? And I actually physically and hopefully and anticipate every night I look out my window here, looking to the street, right? Because thinking that my truck is going to be parked on the curb. And it's going to have a great big bow on it. Not my name, nothing. It's just going to have to be sitting on the street with a great big bow on it. And I'm going to know that that truck is mine. I have no idea how it arrived to me. I have no idea how I'm going to afford the insurance on that. But I've been manifesting that too. I've been working on my abundance and right. And it's something, I'm having fun with it. I'm really having fun with it. And we always, I'm a believer that we always get what we want, right? And I'm willing to work towards that. And I keep working, right? I keep giving, but, it's probably, it might be easier if I went down and saw a car dealership at Jeep and say, hey, right, can you sponsor me? But I don't want a leased vehicle. I don't want something borrowed to me or something. I want to own this truck outright as my own, right? And I've never owned my own home. Me and my husband, we were married for 8 years, or we were together for 8 years, but we never owned our own home, and I never had that opportunity to be a homeowner. And I'm not sure if I'm disappointed in that. The only thing I'm thinking is I sure would have liked to have had a backyard that had a fire pit, and I could have big fires, right, in the summertime and enjoy my backyard. But other than that, no, I'd be happy just to nomad. I'd love to go on a fifth wheel. That is my dream, and I actually manifest on my wife. Today I went for a bike ride and I actually went fishing. My sister invited me to come and hang out with them. They were fishing down at the dock down by the ports today. It was a free fishing weekend, and you could take the family to the rivers and stuff, and you don't have to have fishing licenses and everything. So it's a big family event, and there were lots of people on the river doing some fishing today. And my sister went down and fished, and she says, if you're not busy, and I was going to go for a walk into a residential area that I really like, but when she invited me, I said, oh, hell. I said, it's close to my bottle dump. If I get bored, I'll go over to my bottle dump and dig with my hands some bottles. And yeah, I took my bike and I went for a beautiful bike ride. It was a beautiful, beautiful day, bright, sunny, not a cloud in the sky, beautiful breeze, very comfortable. It's still very hot, hot, hot. And yeah, I actually cast a few times and it was lots of fun. And then I went and took my bike and I went and picked up a few groceries and stopped off at the drugstore, got a few chores done, and got back on my bike and came home, and I was finishing up a few of my chores here. I still have the floors to do, but all the laundry's all sorted out. Everything's put away. I just have the floors and some dishes to do. And yeah, and I have another day off tomorrow. But I got so much done today. I'm so proud. I even got a little bit of color today out on the bike and everything. I got a little bit of color today. So I'm really happy to start to get a little bit of color. I like tanning a little bit. I look pretty good, I think, with a little bit of tan, right? Because naturally very pale. I'm naturally a very pale person, right? Okay. Right. Right, Andrew. Okay, I get it why you have your passions for the voting system. I can understand that. And you're considering like keeping the government in line, right? Having a say, doing your best to contribute to the majority, so at least you can keep the government straight. Mobile, that's the gas company, right? I know because when I went for my road trip into down to Minneapolis, when I gassed up the company, it was mostly a mobile gas station, mostly that I was stopping at to get my gas. And it's funny because I keep having this vision of this one gas, and it's just a funny thing. It's just a vision of me walking into this gas station and asking the people at the desk to directions to get onto the interstate, right? Because I kind of got sidetracked. I guess I was looking for McDonald's coffee or something, and I went into a town and I was having a hard time finding the interstate again. And I stopped off to fill up my car, and I walked into the gas station. I had to ask for directions, but it's just a 1 second. I haven't even entered the building, but this vision that I have is just putting my nozzle from the gas tank and closing the cap and turning around and walking to go into the gas station with a lady crossing by me, and then it stops. That vision just stops right in that second. And being a little bit of superstition, because I believe in my insight, my curiosity, my intuition, and how it all ties up together, it kind of makes me wonder what those few seconds, that they were very, very important, right? And that was on my way down. I had only been on the road for maybe 3 or 4 hours at the time, and I was just entering. Oh, I don't know. I was driving into one of those small cities, and maybe I was coming into Fargo or something. So I was only 3 or 4 hours into my drive. Yeah, I drove nine. It took me 9 hours to drive from Winnipeg to Minneapolis. It was for a workshop that I was wanting to go. But yeah, I remember. See how sidetracked I get. Yeah, so it was just the gas station that I noticed. I don't think we have mobiles up here in Canada, but I noticed that was like the main gas station down there. I know, Andrew, but isn't it amazing that our age, you're going to be 60 now. Oh no, you just turned 60, you sneaky one. You didn't tell anybody it was your birthday. We missed your birthday, right? And happy birthday to you, Andrew. Happy belated birthday to you. Now, how are you feeling, Andrew? How have you been feeling? How are you healing up from your staph infection? I'm really curious to know, right? How you've been doing on that. Have you started a little bit of? I'm just reading some comments here. Your rehab, Andrew. Have you started any of your rehab yet? Oh, I see that, right? But that's the thing with technology. I was just thinking about something along that lines today, because when I go to Safeway, or I go to different places, and I have a card, and they give you little points and discounts and stuff. They're actually just monitoring your eating habits, the groceries that you're buying. I never have those Safeway cards. I never do anything like that. The drugstore cards. The only thing I do is the Tim Hortons card. I do the Tim Hortons card, but I'm not buying lots of donuts and muffins and stuff. Like sometimes you will. I'll buy like a chicken finger sandwich. They call it a crispy chicken or something. You know, it's just got lettuce and tomato in it, and my coffees. And then I buy the ladies at work their muffins, right? One lady buys it for me for one day, and I buy it for her the next. So we take our turns buying coffees, right? At Tim Hortons. I really like the Tim Hortons coffees. But yeah, no, I'm really proud of the effort that you make, Andrew. Like it's amazing at 60 years old that you're. I remember my mom, you know, when Universal remote controls. Remember those where you could get a remote control and it would control your VHS machine or control your TV. Could even get them to control your lights, right? And we buy one of these for my mother for Christmas, and she'd like chuck it across the room or chuck it at the wall or something because she did not like technology. She was not interested in it. And yet she was a kind of a little bit of a master. Even with her rheumatoid arthritis, she was a little bit of a Nintendo monster. She always loved to have the Nintendo machines around. She loved Mario Brothers and there were a few Goonies. She loved that game. It was a video game called Goonies, like the movie, and yeah, I was never into video games. I never played video games. I did play Pac-Man when Pac-Man first came out, and we were weaning off the pinball machines. I love pinball machines, right? I actually know a lady who has the Rolling Stone pinball machine, and just the glass panel for the pinball machine for the Rolling Stones is worth over $10,000. And that was the last time we checked, or the last time I had that information was well over 10 years ago. So that piece of glass has got to be worth a lot more money. And can you actually imagine, right, when he passes away, that sorry, I was gonna say Rod Stewart, right? But I was just looking actually here for a book that I just, I've been picking up books lately. I picked up two new ones this week. Actually, I'll show them to you right here. And actually, I don't know what they look like, but I kind of read the back end of the covers about them, and they kind of in line of what I do here. I got this book right here. It's called Live, Love, Explore. Live, discover the way of the traveler. Love, a roadmap to the life you were meant to live. Explore, right? And yeah, it's best-selling author of The Kindness Diaries. And it kind of spoke to me, and it came in kind of a serendipity moment when I was at work. I got these from, if you guys don't know, I work in a thrift store, and we pay $1 for these books, right? So I pick up a lot of inspirational books and stuff, and you never know who I'm going to come across, and if I get a feel of what their problems are, or if I get a feel for the kind of person that they are, or the kind of person that they're hanging around that probably isn't good for them, because that, for the most part, that's probably what it is. That's probably why we end up by ourselves, or we end up as caregivers and stuff, because we can read people so well. If you hang out with me, you probably got a little bit of empath in you. You're probably very highly sensitive and in tune to other people's feelings, and you can kind of scope people out, right? I would say the majority of you have very high intuition and can read people very, very well, right? And I think a big part of why you guys hang out with me is because I am genuine, right? That I am open, and because I'm just as willing to talk about my failures and show my weak parts and my personalities and just be genuine, right? And just kind of hope that you guys will kind of warm up to my values. If you don't warm up to the way I live or the way I think, right? My cultures, the the spirituality part of it, that my ideas about, and this comes into the second book that I have here, the Darwin's Awards, Next Evolution. And we all know that Cindy believes that this journey that we're on right now, I truly believe that it's for our evolution, our soul's evolution, not us individually, right? Like, there'll never be another Cindy. There'll never be a Cindy, but it would be my hope that this Cindy would be in that, that Cindy's, the spirit that I have inside, the spirit that I'm kind of co-working and traveling with through this journey that I'm doing in my life, and and taking my lessons from, and holding my intuition and receiving my intuition. I truly believe that this is my soul, and I'm kind of like the caregiver, right? I'm kind of like a caregiver myself to my soul. And even though Cindy is never coming back, right? It would be my hope to be on that wall of fame of contributing to my soul's movement in its evolution, because this is what I truly believe, that this journey, every person, like that, every person gets a soul, right? And if they wake up and they realize how that they are partnered with a soul, and this soul is here to help us move mankind forward in our evolution, right? It becomes an easier journey, because now you've got a mission. Now there's a purpose for you, right? And I wish some of my friends who didn't make it, a lot of my friends didn't make it in this life, but I knew that they would have stuck around. They would have stayed, right? If they had known that their purpose was to help their soul move forward in their journey, right? And that's what I'm doing. And that's, I know it sounds a little bit silly sometimes, right? But I truly believe that's what I'm doing here. And so it gives me kind of a purpose, right? To better myself and contribute a little bit to this world that we live in, to maybe, bring value, especially when I never felt like I had value my whole life, never being, sorry, I'm just dropping everything on the floor and everything, right? But being somebody who never felt like they provided value for anybody, that, what was the point, right? That it kind of gives me that pride to know that, well, you know what? That's something that I can do, right? If the soul wants to explore, if the soul wants to experience, if the soul wants to give back and shine a little bit, and right, maybe show its worth, then who am I to stand in the way and not contributing and not wanting to share in that experience is kind of selfish, right? And at the same time, what an amazing life I could have, right? How many people out there get to partner that way? How many people get to connect with themselves that way, right? So, and it gives me hope that even though I didn't wake up to all of this until well into my 50s, that I actually have an opportunity to come back and have another try at the things I didn't get right, and then to move on and move past and take the lesson that maybe I can help somebody else who had the same experience as I had, somewhere down the road, and move myself forward that way, because it's not just what we do for ourselves, it's not just understanding more, there's a lot of what do we bring to the table, right? What good is there? Like, how can we change things for the better, or plant a seed in somebody's mind? Because you never know who you can impact, right? And I truly believe that. So yeah, I was going on about evolution. So I had to pick this book up for $1, and it's a good reference book. So hopefully it can make some time. I'm a slow learner. I'm not a slow learner, but I'm a slow reader for sure. And yeah, who's to say when I'm going to get to these? I have a few books in here, but I have been referencing them. I have been reading them, and I have been taking notes, and yeah, it's kind of an interesting path that I'm on. But like I was saying, I don't get a lot of mean things said to me, right? And so it makes it so this is easy for me, right? You know, that I haven't been impacted by something mean or something somebody said because they didn't truly understand the message I was trying to get across, right? Or maybe I truly did misrepresent myself and did deserve to have a blast, right? Be blasted, right? But yeah, we can't beat ourselves up for these things, and we just got to move forward. It's just an experience, and like I said, you get a few of those, and after the while, it just doesn't sting anymore. So you know, I'll know I'll start moving when those ones start coming in. I'll know I'm moving again for sure, for sure. But it's good to hear that the Rubicons are going on sale, Melvin. Thanks for letting me know, right? You know, maybe it's only going to be 60,000 now instead of 67,000, right? It's an expensive truck. If you don't know the Jeep Rubicon, uh, the Wrangler Unlimited, right? The 2021, it's amazing. It has a cross between a Wrangler and uh, well, what's the Unlimited? There's another one, but it's a cross between them. It's a kind of a hybrid. It's a kind of a cool looking truck, right? It almost looks like one of those trucks that go to the banks to collect the money. Oh, an armored truck, not quite as big, but it's kind of like an armored truck, squared off like that and everything. It's kind of a cool looking truck. I really like meaty trucks. And I'm an SUV girl, 100%. I'm an SUV girl, right? Yeah, I like my SUVs. And I've had a few of them. I've had a few. I have had a Jeep. I had the Jeep Sport in the 90s. In the 90s, I had a Jeep Sport. I had a Toyota Celica, and that was a 1977. That was one of my favorite little cars, a little sporty car, a little red sporty car. I just absolutely loved it. Yeah, if I ever make it big, I'm going to buy one that's been souped up. You got to get them in the States though, because that's where the collectors are of those cars. But yeah, I'd bring one of those up. Oh, that would be absolutely amazing. But I had the Chevy Tracker. I had the Trax. I had a 1957 Dodge Monaco. It looked like a car out of Goodfellas. It only lasted 2 months, right? And it was a good thing I had a friend who was a mechanic, but he couldn't even save this car, right? I had to trade the Celica in because the side panels, the rivets had coming off. So every time I went down the highway, the side panels would go boom, just like plane wings, right? And I'd be driving down the highway and I was always scared that I was going to get stopped by cops, right? Because I had wings on my car. Yeah, those flaps would just keep riding up. It was in really rough shape by the time we left, just a rust bucket, but it always started up. And here in Manitoba, when it's 40 below zero, and that was just a little car, right? Thank goodness it was so small. It was easy to push out of the banks and stuff, but it was easy to get lost in the bank too because it was so tiny. Yeah, but my favorite vehicle was the Chevy Tracker. I really loved that truck, right? I wish they still made them. Even the old ones, they stopped making them in 2004. 2004, I think they stopped making those vehicles. Yeah, 2004 they stopped making those vehicles, and the ones that are still on the road right now, the frames don't hold up well. They didn't hold up well. That was the main problem with that truck, was the frame on it. And once the frame goes, the truck is absolutely useless. So it's almost impossible to get that vehicle and be able to have it safety, right? I mean, maybe you're so lucky, like my friend Alice, who promised me that she would sell me her Chevy Tracker. I get first dibs, but she's had a personal mechanic for that car ever since she's had it. And she bought her Chevy Tracker the same time I did, and she's still driving it. So she's driving a 2004 Chevy Tracker in 2021, and yeah, and it still runs great. She takes it to the beach, and yeah, takes it on road trips and stuff, and it still does really well. But that's because her own personal mechanic. She had a friend who's a mechanic, so he's been taking good care of it. So yeah, there's a possibility there that maybe I could get a Chevy tractor that might be able to be safetied. We would have to see, right? But she said she'd give me first dibs on that vehicle. I am so ready to get back on the road. Yeah, when I do my affirmations and stuff like that, I just usually kind of, have a little conversation, and at the end, I just kind of throw in the Jeep Wrangler Rubicon kind of wish, and I have a wish for a fifth wheel. It's a great big drivable camper, and with a hitch on the back so that I could hitch up my Wrangler so that we could park the trailer. I have this big plan in my head about traveling North America, doing workshops and seminars, and visiting national parks, and driving through small communities and having conversations, and right, and getting on Elon Musk, right, internet. He's on satellite, and he's got a program, and get on his, and so that I could just travel North America and be just fully covered and be able to do my live shows every day and live the life that I want to live, right? Right. And it changes from day to day to day, right? But it's kind of the gist of things, right? The plan hasn't really changed. The resources and the availability of the opportunities is kind of an install, especially with the coronavirus still going on. But it's great that I've been able to take in my lessons. It's given me some time. I'm grateful that I've been able to work full time during this whole time, that I was able to put a roof over my head, right? Right. So yeah, I'm so grateful to be coming out of that really bad year that I had, because it was kind of a heartbreaking year, and it was kind of a very scary year for me. It was a very scary, uncertain. I was very uncertain. I was very nervous, and I was heartbroken. I was heartbroken too, because I was separating from people that I really cared for, and I was going to search out for my own life and everything. So, and I was separating from people that I very, very much really cared for, but it wasn't a journey for them either, right? Because we were just rubbing each other just wrong, right? That we're different people, and we were trying to make it work and stuff, and having this little bit of a break from those relationships, it kind of makes it so that I can see how damaging, not that they were purposely setting out to hurt me, or I was purposely setting out. It was just circumstances. It just the way things were, and nobody was to blame. It was just our upbringing, right? But it happened nonetheless. So it's a matter of taking a little bit of time for that and the healing, and just start to feel a little bit better about that all, right? Yeah. So yeah, I don't know how I started trailing off like that, but you guys know I do that every once in a while. Let's see what else you guys are yapping about. Yeah, I like this cup. I really like this cup. It's a very colorful cup. It's a very lively cup. Look at it. It just brightens up the whole frame of my life, doesn't it? Yeah, I'm grateful to have a job where every once in a while a cup, amazing cup. My friend Cindy Vlogs, right? If any of you subscribe to her, she's an urban explorer, right? She collects cups. She does live shows too, and she keeps all her cups on coffee hooks all behind her in her live shows, and I guess her fans send her nice coffee cups and stuff when they see her and stuff, right? So yeah, I really like her. She supports me on my Instagram too. No pun there. No pressure there, Andrew. And I totally 100%. You don't worry about coming over to Instagram. I appreciate that you hang out with us every Sunday night, and that you take that responsibility as wonder like this. My live chatters would not be half as much without you and Owen, right? Yeah, and I appreciate everybody who pops into my lives, and for all of you guys who pop in later, because I know a lot of my views after the lives, right? Because you're going to watch it on your own time. You'll get up in the middle of the night. You won't have anything to do. Let's listen to Cindy. What's Cindy yapping about tonight, right? What's Cindy yapping about tonight? And you'll come in and you'll kind of hang out with us and stuff. And oh, that's nice to hear, Andrew. Because yeah, you guys are a big part of this live show, right? And I tell people on my Instagram all the time on Sundays. I always make a big deal and try and get people to come over here and hang out with us on Sunday nights, right? And every once in a while, somebody from over there will. And yeah, they're absolutely amazing people over my Instagram. But yeah, not like you guys, right? And I really, really do appreciate, and and all the platforms have a different way, how we interact and how we connect with each other. And I just really love the way that we can come in and I can sit here and have a conversation, and I can actually include everybody and hear everybody's ideas and thoughts and follow along on the conversations, right? Just in the chat or on the side that I can actually and every once in a while Owen or Andrew will send me a comment to authorize, right? Or that's something they thought might be inappropriate or something. They'll send it to me to see if it's okay, and I 100% trust their judgment, right? They run a really, really good show, and they haven't had to play bouncers. A couple of times we had to let people go, didn't we? But we depended on Nancy, right? I miss my Nancy coming in here and chit-chatting with us on Sunday nights. But we're all struggling right now with the coronavirus, and there's going to be a lot of residue problems that, even though we're going to have our vaccines and they're going to be opening up cities 100%, man, the homeless have taken to the streets, haven't they? It gives a little bit of freedom when you're not tied to the system, because I'm putting myself in the shoes of the homeless, right? The homeless community. And, in the summertime, to have that freedom to pitch a tent and connect with the world around you without being tied to the system, right? Being tied to the official part, especially for adults who have gone through traumatic childhood experiences or have gone through wars and have got post-traumatic stress disorder, or are dealing with other mental health issues, and they find themselves out on the street, and then, you want to be part of a community and stuff. And what are the communities there? And then you bump into somebody who does really bad drugs, and then you try it, and the next thing you know, you've got another problem on your plate, right? And that's the sad part about it, because they were, I have an interest, right, in the homeless. Just like, I guess because of how close I almost came to being not having a roof over my head, right? And, I don't know if I would have actually let it get to that point, but I'm glad I didn't have to make that choice whether or not to ask family to come in and save the day, right? I'm grateful that I was able to use my own initiative, my own determination, asking around. I'm grateful for my other amazing sister, Alice, who actually hooked me up with this apartment. And it relieved a lot of stress off of me, right? And I really like my little apartment. And I really love that I have a big picture window, even though I wish I could get out there and clean the outside of the window so I could have a clearer. But, all it takes is a couple of rainstorms, and that would take care of that, right? But I'm grateful for all of that, and I try to voice it, but sometimes we forget, right? We only think of the things that aren't going well in our life and the things that we can grumble about, and we don't look at the positive. We don't look at the value that we bring to the table, or what we possibly can contribute, because maybe we're not contributing right now, but there's a great possibility with our own interest and curiosity and knowing how to take the lessons, and just going into YouTube and finding good influencers and finding good people that you can hang out with and have conversations with and stuff, right? Being part of a community, just like I have my own community here, right? My own Sunday night community, and the sun's going down now, so I'm just going to tuck my head back just a little bit, right? Just a little bit, because yeah, the sun is starting to go down now. But what a wonderful day I had. I went for a bit of a bike ride, and I went down to the riverfront. We have two major rivers, North American rivers, that run through the province of Manitoba. Surprisingly, you might not know, but the Red River actually flows north. So it comes up from North Dakota, right? The Red River, and actually flows north. And so we have the Red River and we have the Assiniboine River, and they cross, and where they cross has actually been a meeting place in Manitoba history for thousands and thousands of years. And even for today, it's a major hubbub, and we call it the Forks here. So if you ever decide that you want to come and visit Manitoba, Canada, one place that you definitely want to come and visit is the Forks, right? It's definitely experience. They even renovated all the old stables. They used to keep the horses, because they used to deliver milk on with horse carriages, right? And they used to keep the carriages and the horses down there in these big stalls and barns and stuff. And they turned all those stalls and barns into stores and shops and different organizations, right? And taking up space there, and right along the riverfront, right? And they put beautiful displays and events going on. And yeah, it's a really amazing place. So if you ever do come to Manitoba, it would be an amazing place for you to come and visit, is our Forks. And that's the thing, right? Andrew, it's hard for us to hang out with people with really bad problems, because the problem with that is, number one, you can get dragged into that problem, right? They can influence you, and if you care for them, and you can see something that makes life a little bit better, because in the moment, it's the immediate pain. A lot of these things that people do that are compulsive and addictive and stuff is for the immediate pain, relieving immediate pain. And we all have immediate pain. We all have struggles and pain in our lives, almost in every single moment, but we don't always keep it on mind. Sometimes we like to brush it aside. Sometimes we put it on a shelf somewheres in the brain back there, try not to look at it. Sometimes we try to resolve the issues as much as we can, right? To make it so they're just not as painful. But they never truly go away, right? They may change, and you may resolve one, but you'll just receive another, because you're always hurting. You're always struggling with something, right? What, Andrew? What is most sad, Andrew? I'm got to backtrack here a little bit. Oh yeah, you were talking about the homeless, yeah, and so yeah, what I was saying there. So that's where the trouble is, right? Because you can be badly influenced by these people, right? When you live a totally different life, but at the same time, it could be physically damaging, right? It could be dangerous. They could, right? Because they're desperate for money, so they may cheat you, they may con you, they may outright steal from you, right? Hurt people don't care. They're only thinking about themselves in the moment, right? They're not thinking of other people's emotional issues. And this is for the most part with people. And when people get that low, right? It's the people who are that low that actually take them on as their lessons, right? It's a good example is when I was going through OFE, Opportunities for Employment. I'm very grateful for them too, right? They helped me get back on my feet last year. very grateful. And I've been holding down a job, full-time job, the whole time during the coronavirus. I've been working full-time, whereas most people had the jobs, they lost their jobs outright, right? And I work for a great little company and with people who treat me well, right? Who treat me well. And even though we still have moments, right? But sometimes I deserve this, and it's all part of the learning process too. And I got to understand I don't know everything. And part of that process is for me to learn to take instruction, for me to get comfortable with dealing with criticism, right? That's something that I struggle with. It's something that I struggle with, dealing with criticism. Who likes to be criticized, but growing up as a child who's criticized constantly, it's not something that I want to carry on into my life, and it's not something I did very much of because I was very self-protective. I didn't let anybody talk badly of me or try to negatively impact me, right? I would always turn it into a lesson, or I'd just walk away from that situation, right? Just like what's been happening with me for the past year, and I'll just release that and just move on, right? Yeah, so it has been a strange year, and just to think that we can look at it, and this is where charities come in, right? And this is where working within your peers, right? Working within your peers. And I was going to tell you this story about when I was at OFE, Opportunities for Employment. There was this lady that was there, just the sweetest lady, and she was awoke too, 100% awoke. And she gave me many lessons during those classes, and I thought she was absolutely adorable. But she had problems, right? She was a recovering addict, a recovering alcoholic, and she had a little bit of alcohol fetal syndrome, right? But she was absolute sweetheart. She took care of her family, and she took care of the people in her neighborhood. And if you followed me for any length of time and you followed those lives while I was going to OFE, she actually brought me new clothes, new wardrobe to start my new job at, just thinking of others all the time. But she had serious problems, right? And so her target group, her target audience is those people that we don't want to be around, people that we are uncomfortable or we don't know how to deal with them because we've never had those experiences ourselves, right? There are people out there who have had those experiences, who have lived those lives themselves. And so these are people that we could reference to, right? Like, I'm really sorry, Joe. I never had an experience with heroin. I don't know how that addiction can be controlled or what we can do to move past that. I can understand you're covering up some immediate emotional issues, right? And we can work on those issues. But what's important is let's try and figure out this really bad habit that you picked up. But I have this friend, right? I have this beautiful lady that I know who struggled with this exact same thing. And I think you need to have a conversation with her. So I'm going to get a hold of her, and I'm going to have her get a hold of you, okay? And then, you'll talk to somebody who actually really understands, right? Because I'm going to sit here and I'm going to listen to you and I'm going to feel it throughout my soul. But I'm not going to experience it, right? By hearing the story, hearing your experience, the way you felt it, the way it impacted your life. And you need somebody like that, right? I'm more suited for that person who had the really difficult childhood upbringing, who didn't have parents that were attentive and or too attentive and didn't have my best interest at heart, or did but allowed their own fears to control their emotions and their directives when it came to me. And I ended up with some serious complex trauma growing up that came up into my adulthood. And this is what I've been working on. This is the process. And it has been a process. It's been a long process. And even though I think I'm doing absolutely great, I'm sure that I've got lots of issues still that are just underlining in those surfaces. And it's up to me if I want to clear those up. That information, those thought leaders, all that great insight is online. And I know that I can just Google whatever I need to know, and those lessons will be served to me 100%, right? I'm just coming down the comments and taking a read on what everybody's doing. I'm way behind in the comments, you guys. I'm working my way down here. All my notifications just popping up. Opioids. Really? You stayed in the hospital with no painkillers, Andrew? I couldn't do that. I always get off the painkillers right away. You know, there were a few times that I was in the hospital, like when I had the gastric bypass and I was having some plastic surgery and stuff. And I did have a tubal pregnancy that was a little life threatening, and I went through that experience. So I do understand, the painkiller situation. But I only tried to take as much as I needed, and then I was off it right away. And most times I would pull myself off right away. Yeah, I remember like the next day coming up and waking up from my surgeries and said, okay, get this catheter out of me, and let's get me to Tylenol threes, and then maybe the next day let's try some Tylenols, and then let's see if I could just recuperate on my own. So yeah, I understand you there. I'm a little bit like you in that aspect, Andrew. I am. Oh, that must have been a little bit uncomfortable, Andrew, having to, but maybe that was, I always feel that people come across our paths, for a reason. And, maybe that gentleman, he needed a little bit of healing. And when he physically has these voiceful outbursts, and he talks to himself, and he's having these strangest experiences, maybe you drew something out of him just with the light that you hold inside of you, Andrew, that maybe just your presence. I feel like I'm a little bit of a courier service that way, that people actually have little reactions to me. And very rarely do I know what the package is, right? But I can see in the moment the delivery. I can feel the delivery of the package. And if I watch closely, I can figure out what the package is. I was the very best at figuring out what my Christmas presents are. Well, you guys see me when I do my live shows on Christmas Eve, how good I am at guessing what my stocking stuffers are and stuff. I'm very good at it. I think I'm probably 95% at guessing things, right? And that's true. But in his mind, Andrew, those stories may have been true, right? Remember, you get to pick and choose your own storyline and what you get to believe in, right? and and just because somebody believes in something doesn't mean that you have to believe in it too, right? And especially you got to take into consideration the source and the circumstances from which it's coming, right? And yeah, I'm and you'll resonate with it, right? When you hear things and information comes by your past, you instantly know whether or not it's true or not. That, yeah, there is no question. There is, right. Some of my biggest ideas just were knowings, right? Were just, you couldn't budge me for them because it just 100% truth in my mind and in my soul, right? And when you feel that way, that's your truth, right? That's your truth. Yeah, you have to believe in something. I tell everybody, like lots of people say they're atheists. Well, that's okay that you're an atheist, but what do you believe in, right? What are your values? Do you believe in yourself? Do you believe in your values? Do you believe in family? What do you believe in? And then use that to pull yourself forward. Because in order to pull yourself forward, you have to believe in something. Yeah, so I believe there's something bigger than me, but I'm not quite sure what it is, right? And I'm leaving myself open, right? So I'm preparing and I'm getting ready because there are lots of little indications and lots of little serendipities and stuff that are trying to sway me in directions or trying to give me ideas of what it is. But I think it's a little bit different because it's Cindy, right? This is Cindy. There's no other Cindy in the whole world, right? So it's got to tie up to Cindy's beliefs, right? So I'm going to assume that I have been many, many, many denominations, right? That this is just a denomination that Cindy's chosen because it works for her life, right? And like I said at the beginning of this live today, that, I do these lives and I work on my mindset and work in mindfulness and I'm learning about, emotional intelligence and moving forward and evolution. Like I'm learning all this because I think it helps my soul, right? Because I think that I'm preparing my soul. Like I'm so grateful that I jumped on board when it came to the digital age. Like I might not have discovered any of this, right? I might have lived all my whole life oblivious, though I don't think so. Right? Well, I know so. I know so, right? But at the same time, right? It's our choices. It's our choices in life. And to get me to that point, it took a lot of work. Took a lot of intuition. It took a lot of making choices that in the moment might not have been so comfortable, right? That I didn't want to do, that seemed very scary, that might have seemed a little stupid. And make those choices anyway, even though I wasn't quite sure what the results would be. And then to have them work out or take me down a path that's a little bit more interesting or give me insight or save my brand, right? And this all comes from my intuition. It's just scrabbling for little ropes and stuff to hold myself up and hold my brand up for stopping it to crash. And sure enough, look at it, right? My brand should have crashed. Like, oh my goodness. In truth, probably 4 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, it should have crashed. And yeah, I'm so grateful to have been able to find great thought leaders and to find the insights and the knowledge that I needed. And so grateful to wake up to knowing that there was something bigger than me, right? To something to believe in. Because I never believed in anything before, right? I didn't even believe in myself, and that's pretty sad. That's pretty sad to be in your 50s and you're just living day to day, right? And thank goodness I found YouTube, and thank goodness I hit the back roads, and thank goodness I found myself and spent time with myself and did things I loved. And even if it's short term, and even though I got shut down, I'm grateful for those experiences, and it won't be for long because I'm convinced my Jeep Rubicon Wrangler Unlimited 2021 is on its way. I know it. I'm looking out the window right now, expecting that it's going to be on the road with a great big bow on it for me, and I'm just going to get on that elevator, go downstairs, even if I'm just in my underwear, and I'm going to run across the street, and I'm going to hug my car, and I'm going to rip that bow off. And when that man and woman comes out and he's ready to give his wife that beautiful Jeep, I'm going to be heartbroken. But in that moment, it's going to be an experience. It's going to be an exciting experience, and I hope I'm smart enough to tape it and post it for everybody to watch. Aww. You can see that Angry Birds is surrounded by teddy bears, right? Exactly, Melvin. Exactly. I want my Jeep to magically appear out there. And on top of that, we know the car insurance is going to be really high. I could probably expect that my car insurance for that truck will be $500 a month. I can manage it, but that means I'm going to have to skimp in other aspects, or I'm going to work extra hard and do a lot of tarot card readings, or do mindset coaching or life coaching, or right. I'll be doing something to bring up that extra money. But at the same time, when I say I want that truck, I also say, because I'm smart, I also say I want that money for the car insurance too, that I need an extra $500 a month to help pay for that car insurance. And you know what? While we're at that, might as well add the gas to that. So I need an extra, say, $700 a month, because I'm going to spend $200 a month because I'm going to hit the road and I'm not coming back. I'm just going to put my cat in the cat cage and I'm going to fill up the car with all the camping gear and I'm gone. I'm gone. I might never come back, right? I'll still be posting. I'll always be posting, right? My Chatters Lives on Instagram is not going anywhere. My chit chats with you guys every Sunday night, that will always be happening. And I promise that, right? You know, things do change, right? But we are going to get together every single week, no matter what. Like I said, there's always challenges. Oh, there's my phone. There's always challenges. But we adapt and we conquer and we make things work, right? So no matter what the obstacles, we'll get it sorted 100%. Look at all that earthenware behind me. Can you see it? Can you see it all? Can you see it all there? Look at it all. Whoops, pull my thing. Look at it all. Got tons of it. I got a few more pieces. And then one of the gentlemen at my work, he comes in and he picks through the jewelry and the sporting goods and stuff. And he actually gave me some pottery pieces, some earthenware, stoneware. He knows that I really like it. So he brought me some in and I absolutely adore it. And I'm very grateful. And every single one was a beautiful piece. And yeah, that lantern was one of them. If you could see, I've got an old stoneware lantern right there. Even with the hurricane on it, right? Still had Goss hurricane with it. So I really love that piece too. But my favorite piece is this one here. This is a birch tree. Somebody made it to look like a birch tree, and it's my favorite vase. I'll have that one forever. But not as beautiful as my witches. My witches are absolutely spectacular, but you guys can't see that. You can see my HP sauce. I love scrambled eggs with HP sauce. It's very English. Who out there eats HP sauce, you guys? How many of you guys eat HP sauce? I'd like to know down there in the comments. It's a very English thing, right? When I was growing up, we always had a jar or a bottle of HP sauce on the dining room table. My nanny also, when she fried up bacon and stuff, she would pour the bacon into a bowl and it would harden like lard, right? And in the morning when she would have breakfast, or at nighttime when she was making dinner, she would always put the bowl on the stove, and while she was cooking, it would melt down to a liquid again. And she put it on the table with the bread, and it was meant for everybody to dip the bread into this bacon fat. Can you imagine the trans fats in that? That was just like pure fat. But that's what the English did, and this is part of when they were hungry, right? When you're hungry, you get very creative in the way that you eat your meals. And can you imagine if you were starving and you had some bacon, every single drop of that fat would have been super, super important to have, right? So yeah, I can imagine this was probably something that carried over from the Second World War, that maybe something my grandmother did because her mother did it as a way to stretch the budget at home, to make it so that, everybody in the family can eat, right? Yeah. Who's to say? I know in my family, 100%, the amount of trauma going on in my family, the addictions going on in my family, the abuse, obviously, the abuse that comes along with these alcoholic stupors that people get into, right? But yeah, people do some crazy things, and when it gets stuck in the family like that, just becomes a poison. It just becomes polluted, right? It makes the bloodline, and I truly think that maybe I was just dropped into the family that I was dropped into to just help alleviate and help heal some of that pollutedness, right? To make it so it's as when my nieces and nephews and they have their babies and stuff, that bloodline is a little bit healthier moving forward, because I really believe that we are moving into a more conscious world right now. And these people who don't understand, they probably won't be relevant in our lives anymore, right? And I guess we just have to wait and see on that. But we'll be helping each other move forward. We're going to help each other get over our emotional issues, and just the beaten, when you get beat down by struggling for your dreams, and you don't see the growth in that, it can be discouraging too, right? And lots of times we have rough childhoods that kind of affect us emotionally and stunt us in our growth and stunt us in our movement forward. And we have to work and untwist a lot of those ties to make sense of things, right? And we can do that for our own generations, and younger generations will be able to do that for themselves. They'll be born with that knowledge, like the way I was born, and where I wouldn't be able to do too much of it because I was just a kid. I had to listen to my parents, but I understood it. I could see it. So when somebody was hitting me or treating me badly, I could truly see that it wasn't me, that there wasn't something wrong with me. I understood that, right? I could see it was something that was kind of broken in them. And that's what was so hurtful. But at the same time, it was kind of comforting to know that it truly wasn't me. But then there were other aspects of my life that I truly felt that it was 100% me, right? Because when somebody does tell you over and over and over again, and because a lot of this is repetitiveness, a lot of this brainwashing comes from just having it pounded into you, right? Like, yeah, man, I really thought I was a useless bag by the time I left home to start my own journey in my own life. I remember I left home at 18 for a short while, and I moved back for a short while. And then once I was out of the house, I never went back except for that one time when my husband, they were going to pay him to store all our furniture. He was a Patricia, he was in the army, right? And they were going to pay him. He had to do a tour in Croatia, right? So he packed up the house, he put it all into storage, and he said, Cindy, go live with your mom for 6 months. Part of it was he wanted to make sure that I was behaving, but he knew I would behave. But yeah, he sent me to go live with my mom. It was a terrible experience, but at the same time, I got some answers, questions, right? We actually talked about that hurt. I got to, actually delve into some of these questions that I didn't have the answers, that I didn't quite figure out, why did this happen and stuff. And even though the explanations really didn't answer any questions at all, but just to see where her mind was, just to see where she was coming from, right? Just reading the comments, you guys. Documentation on what? Oh, you're talking to Angry Birds there. Yeah, Angry Birds is pretty smart on some topics, isn't he? He's hard to talk, but it's really cool though to listen to his conversations. And it's really different. His conversations are really, really different every week. When Angry Birds first came in, it was all about the numbers. He's really good with numbers. But his whole conversation was numbers. And now he's actually talking about manufacturing and actually his interests and stuff. So it's kind of interesting to see the growth in his conversation and how he contributes, right? And how everybody is so kind to each other. I just absolutely love that, right? We have the best crew here on YouTube on Sunday nights, and like I said, most of my views come after my live show, and people come in and they watch it on their own accord. And lots of people, they hang out in the background too and don't step into the conversation. But that's only for a while. You can't help yourself. Sooner or later, you're going to jump in and say hi. I actually got an email from Sharon, but I haven't had a chance to take a look at it yet. So I got to make sure that I check my emails. I'm not sure, Andrew, if you sent me an email, but I expect I better go into my emails and clean them out and see what conversations have been going on. I went in a little bit today because I had I had 150 messages. Most of it is spam from different companies trying to soak me for money that I don't have, but for products that I'm not interested in, right? Yeah. I have my own ideas, right? Things that I want and things that will help me out, like the Jeep Rubicon. Of course, that's for me. It's a gift for me, 100%. But at the same time, that's meant to get me back on the road. That's my big connection to getting back on YouTube with my urban explorers, right? And also my back road explorers. And also I'm going to need that truck for my amethyst mining, right? When I start my amethyst mine. Yeah, it's gonna be an amazing day when I get my Jeep Rubicon. I am convinced, you guys. You guys are just gonna be in awe when that thing shows up, right? And then you'll truly believe on me, and you'll never want to leave and miss a Sunday night ever again, right? Because Cindy Man knows how to manifest, right? And I'm looking out my window again just in case this is the moment that my truck arrives, right? I'm not even picky about the color, right? Pink, black, army green, orange. I don't care. As long as I don't even care. I just want my Jeep Rubicon. That's all I know. And I mentioned it several times during the day, and I actually mentioned it several times during this live show too. But you have to keep talking about it, right? As if it's already happened, that it's on its way, right? And then sooner or later, it's just going to show up. And like I said, maybe I'll get that 2021 Jeep Rubicon, but maybe it won't be until 2030, right? And I get a secondhand one from 2021, right? You don't know. You always get a version of what you want and what you're searching for and what you're looking out for. And I expect I'm going to get my Jeep, right? I expect that it's going to happen. Oh, good. Then I wouldn't have missed one. I wouldn't have missed one from you there, Andrew. Yeah, because I try to get to my emails right away, but I also know that some people have left some comments on my YouTube channel, so I made sure that I unchecked all those boxes before I deleted anything. So I have to make sure I go into my YouTube channel. Oh yeah, Owen. Yeah, for sure, 100%. How's your mom been doing, Owen? How's your mom been doing? Has she been doing okay? Are the two of you now fully vaccinated? I've got my first vaccination now. Oh, and Andrew, did you get your vaccination? Because they said they weren't going to let you come back to work unless you got your vaccination. Did you get your vaccination? You didn't even tell me. Yeah, I need to know. Oh, that's good, Owen. That's good to know. Yeah, everybody's doing okay here. I'm still working. Oh, excellent, Owen. That makes me happy to hear. Congratulations. I'm super thrilled on that. I hope I was excited to hear that Nancy even got her first vaccination. So that was some amazing news, right? Now if I could see if we can get Nancy out of Seattle. Now there's the challenge right there. Nancy needs to be moving somewheres else. She needs to move somewhere with a little bit less excitement, right? A place where she can feel safe and she can, feel comfortable, where she can make a home and know that she doesn't have to worry about, having these issues arise again and then having nobody around help her with it, right? That poor woman, she's had quite the few years, and like I said, she jumps up and she pops up like a jack in a box. And if you guys don't know Nancy's one of my moderators, top moderators, but she's been having some financial struggles, just like a lot of us here, right? Me included. And yeah, you'd never know it by the amount of ice cream. I spent a lot of money on ice cream this week. Yeah. And I'm smiling, but I'm not happy about it. But I have to smile, right? I have to smile. There is no negativity, right? So we just smile on through it and just know that I'm going to do better, right? I'll do better by it. And it's a challenge for me too, right? And my weakness is food. I tell you, my weakness is food. I go to the grocery store and I have good intent. And yesterday I bought a lot of meat, all the meat that I would possibly need for the next couple of weeks, right? So all I need is a couple of heads of lettuce and a couple of bottles of salad dressing. And I'm good. I'm good. So maybe we'll see if maybe we could start a diet, when I go back to work. We'll start a diet day after tomorrow. I don't need to lose much, maybe 10 pounds. Take another 10s off. It gives me a little bit of a goal, right? Because we are goal setting now. We are moving forward. That beautiful weather is happening right now. So grateful that I was able to get out today and get on the bike. I went fishing for a little while. That was a lot of fun, right? I picked up, my sister took a little bit of a video. I might post it to my Instagram. Yeah, maybe I'll post it to my Instagram, a little short video, a little clip of me fishing that my sister took of me. But yeah, I guess that's my good cheer for tonight, right? I appreciate your conversations, and I appreciate you guys including everybody in those conversations. And you guys in the background, and for those of you who pop in later to watch my lives, right? If you want to come in and hang with us, 7:30 Central, every Sunday night we do this. We yap for an hour and a half every Sunday night, and we have great conversations. And if you can't come into the conversations themselves, just tell us your name, right? What you're up to, where you're from, and just get introduced to some amazing people that hang out with us and take care of the viewers as they get drawn in, right? And we hope that our regulars who are usually here, and Sharon, Kathy, William's not here tonight, Robert's not here tonight. I notice you guys when you don't make it in, and there's no heck or anything, because I don't expect that you guys are supposed to be here all the time. I'm happy to see you when I could see you, and I know you guys would if you could, because you've been with me for years and years and years. But I am grateful for you guys, like I said at the beginning of my live, right? And if I don't say it enough, and I'm grateful for each and every one of you that watches my videos. And if you could give me the thumbs up before you leave the live tonight, that would be much appreciated, because if YouTube sees that there is maybe some value in what we're talking about, and what my moderators are pulling in the conversations and stuff like that, then maybe they'll send it out a little bit further, and then maybe next week we can have some new people join us, right? We can make some new friends, and that's how we grow, right? That's how we grow. And we've been doing that over the years. And like I said, I'm grateful for every single one of you. Okay, everybody, that's it for tonight. I expect some emails maybe, and maybe I'll shoot some emails out this week. Remember, it's a two-way street, right? It's not you guys just staying in touch with me. It's me staying in touch with you. So yeah, I'll send out some short little emails to some of my viewers, and just to say hi, but let you guys know that I am thinking about you, and that I hope all you guys are well and healthy, that things are starting to get back to a little bit of norm. Just remember, we're not through this yet. So if you put a little stockpile of money away, a little stockpile of groceries, a little stockpile of toilet paper, right? Put it away, right? We don't know how this is going to affect us as the recession moves forward, as the government start pulling away from offering up funds for people as they're not working, because now we're all expected to get back to work, and we know that those big companies out there won't be able to bring everybody back. So there's going to be some struggles along the way, but let's hope it's not too bad, and let's just hope that we just hold each other up just like we've been doing all this time, right? Even if it's just on Sunday nights. We've been getting through this just fine. We've been getting through this just fine, and we can get through whatever else is in store. Okay, everybody. We'll see you next Sunday. Bye bye.